Alright folks, I thought I would give you a little video here and send by it to give you all an idea of the scope of the work that we're trying to continue and I hear and send by, also to give the team that's coming down in April an idea of the scope of the work, what we hope to accomplish here as well. So you can see right here is Christ Lutheran. The primary objective for the team on this group is to sand down and reflood the wood. We'll show you a little later how weathered it is, and it's only a couple years old from the salt air. It really needs some help. This is continuing the grounds here. I'm showing you the water meter. We need to add some more fill here. This area here, when it rains heavily, is just a little lake. It makes it very difficult to use the property. But one of the biggest things we hope to do, with the help of Belize Mission Society, is to improve the drainage here. And what's really needed is a drain tile, an open drain tile, culvert, if you will, that will drain the water from this property. Across the street here, this is the home across the street, and there is a culvert already in under the road here. And you can see there's the edge of it. And so that goes under the road over to our property. And here's where it ends up, right across the street. There's Christ Lutheran. Here's where it ends up, where my boot is. And that needs, of course, to be cleaned out. We need to bring it to the side of this big bamboo. We might need to trim some of that bamboo back. And then we want to run the drainage tile out to here, to this area here. And there's St. Alphonsus School that BMS works so very closely with. And here is generally the idea of the area where we want to put this drain tile. And we want to send that all the way to where the next culvert joins up with it. And there's our man Eleuterio, who's taking some detailed measurements here so we can get an idea of the plan that we're going to do. You see, here's the side of Christ Lutheran. Here's the Mercy Center that BMS just put in. God bless you guys, that's really great work. We need to put a drain that will drain this area here between the two buildings. That's our septics there you're looking at. And we need a drain that will come out sort of right here, if you will, to marry up with the drain tile that we're putting in. And so this drain tile will drain not only the property here of Christ Lutheran, but also for the Mercy Center. And we'll just continue this down along this way so that Mercy Center's property is also well drained. And right on the other side of this brush is where there's already an active culvert. So we can be able to marry up our culvert to this one that's already existing. I'll take you right over. And what that culvert is supposed to do, you can see how it goes under the Mercy Center's property and how it just continues on right this, and that drains off into the lagoon. And so this culvert goes underneath this driveway, and it's supposed to drain this property. Unfortunately, like so many of these culverts that they make, they're not kept cleaned. The brush isn't kept away, and so they become less effective. That's one of the reasons why we want to use the block construction for our culvert. Make it straight-sided, concrete on the bottom, then block construction up on the side it'll be cheaper than doing it that way rather than complete concrete all around. This work alone is probably at least 2 weeks worth of work for our crew, but they know what they're doing and they can get it done, and we can put them down here for a couple of weeks to get it done. We'll coincide that time with the same time that the team coming from the Northern Illinois District, they'll be here for the last of the work. They should be able to see the completion of this culvert. Oh, so terribly, terribly needed here in Sandbite and our whole area, to keep this whole area dry during the rainy season. Right now we're in the cusp of the seasons, getting ready to start the dry season, and so it's not so bad. But going to come underneath the church here at Christ Lutheran. This is where we tend to have our worship services. This is also where right now we have been for the last couple of years, the feeding program. There's the kitchen where Miss Harriet works. She's getting ready to feed the children here starting at 11:30. But this is where we tend to have our worship services. It's cooler, and we do other instruction and things up inside the building. But you can see, in fact, I'm going to walk up one of these steps. These steps and will all become, we'll get new coat of flood on. Just to give you an idea of how weather-beaten this can become. And so this all needs to be sanded down. And then we'll put 3 new coats of flood on there. And it'll look terrific. And it'll be well protected, at least for a year. So that's the scope of the work. This is what everybody sees who comes to visit. And so we're very closely aligned with BMS. We're so grateful for that partnership. Hope this gives you a better idea of the scope of the work. You all come down if you can. We'd love to have you help us out with this project. Those in the States, don't worry too much about the drainage issue and all that. We have our guys that will take care of the heavy lifting with that. But we sure could use some help with the sanding and the flooding. It's not challenging work from a knowledge standpoint, but it's hot, sweaty work. So you'll enjoy the days, the evenings off for sure to get cleaned up. But yeah, you can see the difference in color. This is not facing the waterfront, and this is facing the Caribbean. So it's just such a difference. But it all needs to be flooded and needs to be reflooded. Yeah. So hope this gives you a better idea of what we're talking about. And hope to see you down here soon. God bless you all. Bye-bye.